Every May, I get a special delivery, one that reminds me that it's time to get things moving in the garden. Let's talk about the importance of mulch. There are plenty of reasons to incorporate mulch into your garden. Whether you're using an organic mulch like wood chips or grass clippings, straw, or inorganic materials like chipped bricks, stones, plastic, or even shredded tires. I think we can all agree that a well-mulched garden has a certain aesthetic appeal. Mulch helps keep your garden looking nice and tidy. With very little effort and material, you can have your garden beds looking as polished and manicured as any professional garden. Mulching your beds helps keep clean lines between your garden and your lawn, serving as a great barrier between the two. But it's not just for looks. Beyond beautification, mulching serves several benefits to keeping your garden healthy. But before we get into it, I'm interested to hear from you. Do you use mulch in your garden? If so, what are the benefits that you're looking to achieve by mulching? Let us all know in the comments below. Mulch is a protective layer of material that you spread across the top of your soil. But what protections are needed? Well, first off, mulch helps a great deal with water retention. This enables you to water less during dry periods, conserving water while also helping you avoid making the mistake of overwatering, which can in many cases be worse for your plants than letting them get a bit dry. Mulch also acts as a great insulator, helping with temperature regulation. In hotter periods, the mulch will keep the soil cooler. And in cooler seasons, mulch will aid in trapping heat in the soil, keeping your soil warmer for longer. Mulch also does a really great job controlling soil erosion. Covering exposed soil with mulch can help keep the soil in place, rather than it washing away in rainy conditions. And this is great for not only maintaining the shape of your garden beds, but also for retaining the nutrients that are in your garden soil. Rainy conditions that introduce heaps of water into your garden in a short amount of time can wash things out, leaching some of the beneficial nutrients. Mulching your beds helps keep the soil and the nutrients where they belong. As it breaks down, organic mulch adds nutrients to your soil and helps improve its structure, drainage, and capacity for water retention. I actually like to take some mulch and add it to the compost that I'm breaking down for the end of the season. Aged wood chip mulch can serve as a great brown material to introduce to your compost pile. You might find that it takes a little bit longer than some other materials to break down, but if that bothers you, you can always just sift your compost before using it. Now, one of the things you absolutely want to be mindful of when using wood chips, straw, or hay as a mulch is that they can do a thing called tying up nitrogen. What that means is the process of these materials breaking down actually pulls nitrogen from the surrounding soil. This is because the microorganisms that break down wood chips need a good balance of both brown and green materials to do their work. And since wood chips are super high in carbon and really low in nitrogen, the microorganisms are going to have to scavenge nitrogen from the surrounding soil, which could deplete the levels and cause a temporary nitrogen deficiency in your soil. What about you? Have you ever noticed a nitrogen deficiency in either your compost or in your garden soil as a direct result of using wood chip mulch? Let us know about it in the comments. I'm super interested in hearing about your personal gardening experiences. Now, this can be a problem because it's super important to maintain good nitrogen levels in your garden soil in order to keep your plants healthy. But the good news is there are some really simple things that you can do to combat this. First, you want to make sure you're adding a good ratio of browns to greens to your compost pile. Because wood chips are such a great source of carbon, I have to make sure I'm adding in a good bit of green, nitrogen-rich materials like fresh grass clippings and kitchen scraps to counterbalance the mixture. And when you're mulching your garden beds, you want to make sure you're not adding too much and that you're definitely not digging it into the soil. You want to just add mulch to the surface. That'll keep from mingling the mulch and soil, and any nitrogen impact will be limited to just the topmost layer of the bed, which could actually be a very good thing and leads us to the final reason why mulching might just be one of the most important things that you can do for your garden. Weed suppression. Mulch is great at this. Not only can mulch smother the weed seedlings, keeping light from being able to reach them, but it can also use the potential of nitrogen drawdown to your advantage. Weed seedlings, like other plants in your garden, need macronutrients like nitrogen to thrive. Pulling nitrogen from the thin top layer of the bed can inhibit weed seed germination and growth. And because the plants that you want to grow will already have root systems that have developed well beneath the top layer of the bed, you don't have to worry about them suffering from the same nitrogen deficiencies as the weeds that are trying to grow. Just remember, when transplanting, or especially when sowing seeds, you'll want to dig beyond the top layer. Push the mulch aside and uncover the soil underneath. Once your seeds have sprouted and your plants are getting established, then you can move the mulch back over the soil, knowing that your root systems are not going to be negatively impacted by the top layer of mulch. Now, we've talked a lot about mulch in garden beds already, but what about in containers? Can you use it? Should you use it? My vote is yes, you absolutely should. I add mulch to my containers, whether they contain flowers or vegetables. And why wouldn't I? Remember, mulch has multiple benefits, including water retention, improved soil structure, weed suppression, and beautification. And those benefits aren't just limited to in-ground garden beds. In fact, because containers are their own little above-ground ecosystem, I think mulching is crucial to the health of your container plants. In the heat of the season, containers have a tendency to dry out super quickly. Mulch will help keep you from needing to feel like you're watering constantly. It also helps keep the roots from getting too hot as the sun beats down on the container. For the same reasons I mulch my containers, I also mulch my raised garden beds. However, when it comes to my raised beds, instead of using wood chip mulch, I'll often end up using straw. I find straw is a nice way to mulch raised beds without it feeling final. About as easily as I lay straw down to protect my tender plants from early season cold snaps, I can pull back or even fully remove straw mulch to do more planting, pull some weeds, or help the plants I'm growing have a little bit more breathing room. And toward the end of the season, I can remove all of the straw mulch so I can seed cover crops, which will help provide beneficial nutrients to the soil and improve the soil's structure ahead of next growing season. I hope you found this helpful and are inspired to use mulch in your garden. For my money, it's one of the most important things that you can do to ensure the health of your plants and your soil. Happy growing!